Coming up tonight on YCN News. 2 separate tractor-trailer accidents keep Vermont State Police busy on I-91. The date approaches when voters decide which Republican will challenge a Democrat in a race for the governor's executive council. And if you're feeling cabin fever this winter, we've found your cure in Claremont, New Hampshire. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, and welcome to this Monday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Weather-related traffic accidents started early today. 2 separate tractor-trailer accidents along I-91 near Brattleboro and Springfield kept Vermont State Police busy before 8 a.m. No injuries were reported, Vermont State Police report. In New Hampshire, State Police worked with local responders in Grantham to clear a highway crash involving another tractor-trailer. Around 8:20 a.m., State and Grantham police officers worked to get several vehicles off I-89 southbound in Grantham. The right lane of the highway was shut down while a tow truck removed one vehicle from a snowbank. As the rescue work continued, a 2013 tractor-trailer truck driven by 21-year-old Corey Ober of Ohio went off the left road. The truck lost traction on the snowy highway, police report. Ober steered the truck to avoid hitting the nearby disabled vehicles. The truck landed into the median snowbank. Police report no one was injured. There was no damage to Ober's truck, nor was there any damage to his cargo. The tractor-trailer was carrying about 17,000 pounds of doors. Patton's heavy-duty wrecker company removed the tractor-trailer, closing I-89 near Grantham for about an hour. Traffic was detoured off exit 14 to Route 10 and back to I-89 at exit 13. Meanwhile, there are people who relish the conditions drivers dread. Take East Montpelier's Liz Steven, for example. Stevens finished a career best in Italy this weekend as the run-up to the Olympics continues. Steven began her skiing focus as a downhill skier at Vermont's Burke Mountain Academy, but later switched to Nordic skiing. She will be a local New Englander to watch as she hopes to make the U.S. ski team. The Olympics in Sochi, Russia begin in about a month. This is also the season for all things flu-related. If you haven't already, there's still time to get a flu shot, and it will still be effective. For more information on the flu and how to prevent it, check out the Centers for Disease Control website. The site can be found at www.cdc.gov. After the break, we'll hear about the upcoming vote on which Republican will face a Democrat in the race for the governor's executive council, and we'll find out what Claremont is offering that just might cure your cabin fever this winter.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Tuesday, January 21st, is the primary date when District 1 registered voters will decide which Republican will challenge a Democrat in the race for the governor's executive council. 4 candidates seek the seat held by longtime public servant Ray Burton. Burton died in November after a battle with liver cancer. The 3 Republicans are Joe Kenney, Christopher Boothby, and Mark Aldrich. Wakefield's Joe Kenney stopped by Java Cup Sunday afternoon to meet with Claremont residents. Kenney spoke of the need for repairs to state roads and bridges. Money is being lost by companies whose suppliers cannot easily travel to New Hampshire, Kenney explained. The former Marine says he is the only GOP candidate with previous State House experience. Kenney served as a state rep from 1994 to 2002, and as a state senator from 2002 to 2008. YCN News will interview each candidate, including Democrat Michael Cryans, in the lead-up to the January 21st election. Cryans and whoever wins the Republican primary will face off on March 11th ballots. That's the date of the town meeting. The winner of this race will be the state's next District 1 executive councilor. Here's a cure for cabin fever, especially for Sullivan County residents. Sign-ups are beginning for the annual Claremont's Got Talent 2 show. The event is set for 7 to 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, February 22nd. Now let's continue our series of predictions for 2014 with Lisa Connell and John O'Connor.
Thanks, Rose. So, Lisa, for your third sort of looking forward in your crystal ball, what's another story that you think we're going to be following this year?
I believe that will be the possible repeal of the death penalty in New Hampshire. A committee is forming now. More legislators are coming on board and to see if the death penalty in the state should be repealed. There's one man on death row now. It's been 70 or so years since someone has been executed for their crime, and it will be interesting to see how liberal or not the discussion becomes on that. I think it's going to be a very intense, very serious discussion. The matter is serious, and the reason for it coming up at this time has a compelling story behind it, and it's definitely a story to follow, and it will bring another New England state out of the legion of states that it enforces a death penalty.
So, and you think, so the Senate and the bill will be taken up by the Senate and the House?
In the House,
in New
that's
Hampshire.
correct, right.
So, and what do you think we'll see the end of this by June? Or will it carry on through into the next
I think it will
biennium?
carry on. I think that it will carry on into the next biennium because it will be such an intense discussion, and it will be chipping away at what a lot of the country and New Hampshire residents themselves might be looking at their own values and questioning what's the best way to go.
I've got a story that I think may also carry from one biennium to the next, or 1 year to the next, and it's in Vermont, though. And I think it's the education funding, how they fund education in Vermont. The governor has certainly said the system appears to be broken. I think we're going to follow it. We're going to follow it a lot this year. And I think it's an important story for how Vermont funds its education. It'll be interesting. I have no idea, and I wouldn't predict how it's going to turn out. But I think that's a story we're going to pay attention to this year.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next 5 days, and he'll take a look at some local college sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tomorrow you can put away the rain boots and umbrellas, but make sure to wear your warm coats and layers. Skies will be partly cloudy with a high of 11 and lows around 4 degrees. Wednesday should be sunny with highs in the upper teens and a low of 8 degrees. Thursday will have a high of 25 degrees with lows around 12. Friday will have highs in the 30s and lows around 23 degrees. Saturday temperatures will rise to a high of 40 and lows in the 30s, but make sure to bring a raincoat out because we're expecting some showers. If you're interested in theater, consider heading over to Newport Opera House tomorrow for their auditions for Fiddler on the Roof from 6 to 9 p.m. Just bring yourself and something to sing. Now, let's take a look at the UVM versus Dartmouth ice hockey game that ended in a tie. The final score was 1-1. Dartmouth's Grant Opperman scored the 1 point for his team. In the third period, UVM got in the game with freshman Brady Shaw scoring this only goal for UVM in this shot past a distracted goalie. This kept the game in overtime until the game was finally concluded with a tie. After the game, the UVM Catamounts record is 10 wins, 6 losses, and 2 ties. Dartmouth's record is now 2 wins, 11 losses, and 2 ties.
Thank you for joining us for this Monday edition of YCN News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And you can watch our programs anytime online at www.ycnnow.com. Be sure to tune in tomorrow to hear from Robert Woods from Naughty Vines. I'm Rose Spillman for YCN, your local view. Good night.